Hello everyone and welcome to SwitchUp. In today's video we're going to look at the 10 games that got the highest score for the month of September when being reviewed on the channel. We reviewed a fair number of games last month and some very good games actually haven't made the list, games like Moonscars and Anno Mutationen, which got around the high 70 mark, but even that wasn't enough for them to make the cut. We'll go through the games starting with the lowest scored game up until of course the highest, and there'll be links to the reviews for all 10 games in the top pinned comment. So which game got the highest score for the month of September on the channel? Well, let's find out. Kicking us off then in 10th place was Temtem. This monster catching game is addictive to play and the online co-op adds a lot of fun to proceedings. The Temtem themselves look great and it has an interesting style that is definitely appealing. Unfortunately though, we did experience some crashes, plus it always needs to be online, which is a big downer for any game on a hybrid portable system. On balance, it got a SwitchUp score of 78%. In 9th place was Pac-Man World Re-PAC, which is a remake of the original Pac-Man world from back on the PlayStation. This 3D platformer featuring the iconic mascot holds up very well with interesting levels and a deceptively difficult edge to it as you venture on. The updated visuals capture the spirit of the original whilst modernising the overall look, and the classic Pac-Man sound effects certainly add to the charm. It is pretty expensive and things can get a tad repetitive, but on the whole it got a SwitchUp score of 80%. In joint 8th place was Ooblets, which was an interesting blend of two genres, being the farm life sim and monster battling or catching. You must settle in your town, growing crops, tilling the land, etc. But what's interesting is that you'll meet groups of the titular Ooblet creatures which can be challenged to dance battles, basically the game's form of turn-based combat, in order to obtain particular items, or you can also challenge opposing teams to a dance-off, and defeating them will earn you seeds to grow their particular type of Ooblet to join your ranks. Item management could be a little tedious, and again the price was a bit high, but it scored 83%. Also in 8th place then we had Potion Permit. This interesting mix of genres sees you living in a small town, mingling with the locals, fishing, etc. But the big difference here is that you are the new doctor in town and must venture out into the wilderness to find ingredients in order to make a variety of potions and concoctions to keep the locals happy and well. The medicine creation is handled via mini-games revolving around rhythm or memory, and it does work very well. On the more negative side, we did encounter some bugs, although not to the extent of others judging by some other reviews, so just be aware of this. On the whole, it got 83%. In 6th place was Bear and Breakfast, which is a management sim in which you run a bed and breakfast whilst playing, as the title implies, as a bear. It has the addictive gameplay loop that such a game needs and a very rewarding progression system which again really does aid such a game and allows for the game to be deeper than it may initially appear. Coupled with this is a great cast of characters which all makes for a very charming experience. A couple of crashes and a control system which can be a little awkward are minor negatives, but it's a game that comes recommended for sure, and it got a SwitchUp score of 85%. Coming in at 5th place was Tinykin, a really interesting game with a touch of Pac-Man about it. The level design is top notch and the mechanics serve the game well, and there's lots to collect, and above all else it's just a lot of fun to play. There are some performance drops that let things down a tad, but when your 5th place game is getting a score such as the one you're about to see, then it's certainly been a good month. it got 86%. In 4th place was Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. This particular entry in the Trails series was overlooked for localization and release in the West upon its initial release for the PSP in 2010, and it revolves around protagonist Lloyd Bannings joining the police. The missions and battles that you take part in play out as police investigations, and whilst the mission structure does feel a little antiquated at first, this is still a very good game and on the whole holds up very well. The art style looks great and is incredibly crisp, and it's a good amount of fun to play. It got a SwitchUp score of 87%. Moving into the top 3, and in 3rd place was OneShot World Machine Edition. This was actually made using a modified version of RPG Maker 2003, and it's a very unique concept, seeing you play as Nico, a young boy who is awakened in a world covered in darkness. You use a PC and you are guided by a character called the Entity, and it sees you tasked with returning light to the world. The 4th wall is broken on a number of occasions as the story plays out, and the gameplay equates to solving a number of puzzles. This is perhaps the weakest part of the game, but it's definitely more than the sum of its parts, and it is very much about the journey and the story being told. Perhaps one where you need to know exactly what you're getting into before buying, so check out our full review for that, but it got a SwitchUp score of 89%. In 2nd place for September was NieR Automata, the End of Your Edition. This fantastic ARPG first released in 2017 and is a very worthy entry to the Switch's RPG library. The blend of character building elements and hack and slash combat is handled fantastically well, and the world itself is a major part of what makes the game so captivating. The story is an interesting one and combat is engaging and exciting, and whilst there is some minor lag in some areas, this is still a very good port and an excellent game in general. It got a SwitchUp score of 92%. And in 1st place for the month we had Return to Monkey Island. This new entry in the Well Loved series sees Ron Gilbert return to the project and tell a tale that begins right after the conclusion of the 2nd game. It has all of the classic vibes while still feeling new, and it has that essential humour backed up by fantastic voice acting. There is the nostalgic connection of course that you would expect from an iconic franchise, but it doesn't overly rely on this, which is good to see, and aside from some minor control issues, it's an essential purchase for fans of the Monkey Island series. It got a very impressive SwitchUp score of 95%. So there you have it, another month on SwitchUp, 10 more games. What did you think of these games? Did you pick any of them up? Please do let us know in the comments section. If there were any games that we didn't review that you did purchase, please let us know about them down below. What did you think of them? What score would you have given them? Put it all in the comments. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick up these games or any other for that matter, you can purchase your eShop cards from our website, switchup.gg. We have managed to secure another month's worth of 10% off, so there is that. Use the code SwitchUp to get that discount. Also, if you're looking to import any games at all, we do have a link down there to Play Asia. Again, use the link, use the code stated, and you can get yourself 5% off of an order from there. A big thank you to our patrons as always for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.